Hi everyone, and I hope you all are fine. So my name is Sitaram Rathi, and this line pretty much sums all of my programming career till now. And but that's not how exactly looks. So this is me, and yes, I'm a full stack developer, and I'm focusing on backend development. I'm pursuing my BTech in CSE from NIT Hamirpur, India, and so I love working on projects and problems, which makes me push my limits, and from which I got to learn something new. So I love working on problems which solve some real world problems and creating features which are used by some end users. So now let's moving to my project, and which is I'm developing a new lightweight, easy to use client for Rocket.Chat. And what I mean by that is, for now, Rocket.Chat exists as a desktop client, as a web client, and as an Android application. So what I'm going to do, I am going to add it right into your terminal, giving it a fourth dimension. So before any further delay, let's try it out. Yeah, my superbly amazing mentors, uh, amazing for this project, are Aaron Ogle and Devdutt Chakrabarti. I really want to thank them for helping and guiding me throughout these weeks. Without them, this project will never be possible, and they are my constant support every time I go stuck into a problem. So yeah, let's see the TUI working. Okay, I have to log in as it throwed an error. Seems like I have done any typo. Yeah. So this is the TUI, and the features which we are seeing here is that we can log in it, we can view all the channels, and we can navigate into different channels in it. Just from your arrow keys, we can navigate into different channels. And all this thing is working on right into your terminal. So you are viewing everything into your terminal, and you can see all the past messages. As here, see, first time we have 2 pages of messages. uh, I mean, to be more accurate, your last 20 messages, and if you load the more message in the past, you can just do it and see it. You can send messages, and you can use some slash commands in it. That will work too. You can mention users here. That's all. Now let's see it in live working. So we have I have added the license server. By giving this prod flag, it will connect to that server. So again, I think I have to log in. Yeah. And logging to this server takes a bit of time. Yeah. So here, as we see in this channel, we have all our channels. We are in this channel. If I send a message, it will be sent to it in a, yeah. So uh, I have received a message in real time from Devdutt, and I can to send some use slash commands in it, like this, add text, and all these things work in it. And we can mention user, we can mention Devdutt is online, so I can mention him, and maybe I want to mention someone else too, so yeah, I can add them too. Let's mention everyone. Till now all these things are working in it. So yeah, uh, we have logged for in it for one logged in it, and now we don't want to log in again and again every time we run it. So yeah, we are caching the token, and you will be logged in using it, so you don't have to log in again and again. And there are some flags, like if you don't use prod, you can connect to the local server going on. Yeah, again you have to log in, And if you want to connect to any other server, then you can just mention its URL here and it will connect to it. So I think that's everything. Let's try something. I try to keep it as simple as I can. So the basic functionality like doing more typo than I need. Pretty much some of the basic things. There are many things yet which it's need to implement, but yeah, as of now, it's running in the terminal and the most basic things are running in it. You can send message, you can receive message in real time, you can uh, mention users, use slash commands and all that. And if you want to log out, you can log out using control L. So that's pretty much about the TUI. Now let's move forward. So yeah, what are some of the challenges which I faced? Obviously, those challenges are not that scary, but what are those? So the first challenge is because it is developing a UI in the terminal. It's not something like developing a UI in the web. It's completely different from it. So the thing which we are using in it, so I am also new to it. So I have to learn and understand about it first. So I learned how to structure all the components and how to test SDK because we are using the Go SDK for communicating with the REST APIs and real-time APIs. So how to use that SDK locally and how to add specific functions which I need in the SDK and test them locally on my machine and adding the required functionality. So that thing is a bit of a challenge for me. And apart from it, maintaining whole the flow and state of that UI, that is also a challenge because it's not something like React that okay you can manage state peacefully in it. You have to go some different thing in it, and that's a bit of challenge. But okay, some reading about some of the projects made using these frameworks and communicating with my mentors, that's the best thing, and somehow I am able to cope it. So what's the next challenge? And yeah, the Rocket.Chat server. So understanding how Rocket.Chat server works is a bit of a challenge because they are first of all it's a huge code base, so you have to understand what specific part, specific API, what specific functions we are using and we are calling through the SDK, and how it is returning the response, what response we exactly getting, what we need in the TUI. So that thing is a challenge, but yeah, I again communicating and reading documentation, that is also very helpful for me, the developer documentation, and trying things on my own on the server, tweaking codes and running in the game, seeing response what I got, and that's helpful. Adding real-time message updations. So yeah, that's the thing which for the first that's the first major challenge which I came into because it took me a lot of time to add that. I tried many things and again failed and tried many things and again failed, made some other application, then I used this bubble tea code example. So bubble tea is exactly what it is, the framework which we are using to develop this UI in the terminal. So adding its reading its examples and its documentation, diving deep into it, and reading some other projects which are made using this framework, how they are using real-time features and how they are updating their terminal UI. So from that, somehow I got to understand, okay, I need to do this, and by this way it can be done, and we can get the real-time message updation. So that's a thing which took some time. So it's a bit of challenge for me. Yeah, to store past message history, it is not exactly a data challenge because in the rest in the SDK we have functions to fetch past messages, but what the challenge is that which function to call, and some functions are not giving the expected response, and uh, it's hard to find out what exact parameters to pass, and we are not getting the expected response. The most of the thing which is a very tiny thing, but it struck me most of the time is that when I am working with this API, I'm sending the time duration that okay, I want to get message before it. so that time is not getting passed correctly on the backend when I'm sending it from SDK, and it took me a lot of time to figure it out. So that's a very nasty challenge, but yeah, somehow I figured it out and added it. And yeah, adding slash commands and @ user mentioning. So as we see in the TUI as in the demo, that we can mention slash commands and @ mentioning of users and in the room. So it is not something in the which we can do in the JavaScript in web app that we can handle when to add. For adding it in the terminal UI, you have to pass the whole message string and just keep an eye on, okay, here is the slash, here the slash string begins with the slash, so now you have to show the list. Okay, so now you have to hide the list. Okay, so now you have to update the list. Okay, so now you have to filter the list. So on each message input you have to figure it out, and it goes much harder implementing the @ mentioning, because for it you have to uh, man, uh, you have to check the whole user input behavior, whether it moves its cursor in the back, as I showed you that I go back and again added @ and again, so you have to monitor all the input behavior of the user, and according to it you can show the list, hide the list, and again filter it as user type the name. So that's a challenge, but it's not that bad. And yeah, that's a bit of a challenge too. As I said earlier, I write code that breaks stuff, so implementing one feature sometimes breaks another one, and it took more time. Okay, so yeah, there are many features which we are planning to implement in it, like the most of the basic functionalities which we need to add it into this TUI, like adding and updating of a message, adding formatting of a message like the bold, italic, inline comment, and multi-line code, that thing, and adding threaded conversation, which are a very important feature which we use in the web UI, and that will be needed in the TUI. So we are planning to add that too, and creating public and private channels surely, and sending images and files. We are not figure out exactly how we can, but yeah, that's the future which needs to be implemented, and we will surely do, because post DSOC I will be still contributing in it, because it's the project which I made, and I will make sure that it will be compatible for an end user. So yeah, that's the question, that why I choose this project, why I chose this project. So first of all, I love open source project, and I was in a thrust to contribute some uh, open source project in which I develop a future which will be used by some of end users. The end user will experience it and use it. It's not something like it will go in some kind of automation, or it will go to some kind of, okay, developer help, but to be used by a end user. So that's the one reason which I choose it. And the second reason is I want to work with Golang, because I was searching for projects to work with Golang to know more about it. So that's the second reason. And the third reason is I was not aiming to develop a project. My aim was to develop a product, because making this TUI, it is not just a project. It will be used by some of the end users, like those geek people. They will most probably use it. So yeah, it will be converted into a product. So yeah, I'm open for contributions. Give it a try. Share your feedback with me. I will love to hear back from you all. And please open bugs, reports, issues on GitHub for any features that you would like to see or problems you might be facing. And yeah, um, that's all from my side. I think is the repository URL. Yeah, you can visit from here, or just go to Rocket.Chat GitHub and you will find it, Rocket.Chat TUI. And for contacted me, you can contact me over my email, over my GitHub, or Rocket.Chat. And I think it's time to go. So thank you so much for hearing me out. I feel wonderful sharing my whole summer experience, whole 12 weeks experience with you, all of you. You all are such a great audience. And again, that's not me. So, okay, bye. Thank you, everyone.
That was awesome. Very good presentation and great job. I can see everybody very excited here to try it out. I pasted here the link, so please, if you can go there and give it a star, or open up an issue and try it out. Very good, very good. I think I use the BBS bulletin boards, like on the old times. This is resembles it, right? It's like very hardcore users. This is very good. Yeah, so
Yeah. Thank you
congratulations,
so much,
and very
everyone.
funny presentation too. Very awesome presentation. Very well constructed.
Thank you. So, uh, yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Any questions, anything?
Yeah, Singlish is
Thank you.
asking about the compiled binary. What's the size of that?
Actually, as of now, it's very lightweight, but just let me check once because I have not checked the binary. I am just running it to the main file. Just a minute.
Yeah, and also the phrase maybe the source be with you. Very good. That's very good.
uh, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's 8.6 MB, the compiled file,
26.
binary file.
Yeah.
8.6 MB.
8.6. Okay, yeah. Versus Electron. Are doing some considerations here about resource. Well, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome.